Y'all, who is the married pastor? Sky Squad, we are back with another episode of reality TV mystery theater. I want to welcome you guys back in to this week's mystery, where we are allegedly on the hunt to find the married pastor that is a client of Phaedra's that Porsha is accusing of sleeping with Kelli Potter. Okay. My God, today. First of all, y'all gonna have to forgive me for this recap because truth be told, y'all, I am like a little bit hungover. I don't even know what happened. I went out for a friend's birthday yesterday and I swear I had like 3 drinks. And today I am picking up the pieces. I, I am picking up the pieces of my life. I just don't got it in me no more. I just don't got it in me. Um so as we discuss this episode, y'all, just know that I don't really have the energy or the strength to give y'all anything else other than what I actually feel in this moment. And I might even just not look at the comments because I want to be able to give you my honest thoughts, and I don't want to be burdened by people's like or dislike of a particular person because I just want to give you the show as I see it. Okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, I'm going to put this in the chat. We will be doing another faceless masterclass tomorrow night. I'm really looking to work with like at least 5 people, just 5. I mean, because the classes are usually intimate and that way I can answer questions and personalize plans for you. So we really want to work with people who want to start their own faceless channels, but I really want to work with people who have either some idea of what they want to do or who are really ready to get started. I find that the classes work best when they're pretty kind of intimate. So if that's you and you've been looking for this opportunity to do it, go ahead and click the link in the description of this video. Or if it's not in the description, it's definitely in the chat right now. Okay. All right. So that's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go ahead and tap in. First 5 that get it, y'all get it. And we'll keep it pushing. Also, I will be in Miami this weekend at ABFF. I'm doing a panel on Friday featuring creatives, people who work in the film and television industry from DC. We're going to be talking about bringing film, television opportunities to DC. So if you're in Miami and if you're at ABFF, come to our panel at 10:30 to 11:45 a.m. All right, now got that out of the way. Okay, so let's have a real Ponderosa. Okay. Now, some of y'all are not gonna like what I got to say, and I gotta be fine with it. But a lot of this needs to be said, and we're gonna go ahead and jump this off right at the beginning. I'm gonna read y'all the episode description, and then we're gonna get into the mystery of it all. Okay, there are several mysteries to solve on this show. One of them I'm not gonna get too much into because I feel like we've already beat that horse with a bat. So I don't really want to dive too much into it, but I do want to say I was in part right about the K. Michelle situation. So I would like to congratulate myself. It's a congratulations. Yeah, yes, I would. But let's read into the episode description. It is season 17 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, episode 8, A Sound Bath Breakdown. It says, as Kelli navigates the pressure surrounding her business and personal life, Porsha is torn between Mike and Sway. Hint, let me go ahead and tell you, after seeing this episode, I'm Sway all day. Okay? Sway for me. Sway for you, Porsha. Sway over everybody else. You might as shorty swing my way. You need to swing Sway's way. Okay? Because after watching that date, it's Sway for me. Phaedra hosts a sound bath in hopes of restoring peace after Dallas, but things take a turn when K. Michelle confronts the group. Okay. So we'll get into that. But first, let's get into the news that has come about as a result of the episode. So the people are now investigating Phaedra Parks's following list after Porsha alleges that Kelli slept with a married pastor. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Okay. Last night when I saw the scene and I saw how it played out and why Kelli said what she said, I do have to wonder who sat Kelli and Porsha next to each other and who thought that would be a good idea. Production, Phaedra. I couldn't have been Phaedra. But there was so much interesting stuff revealed last night, and I don't know if y'all picked up on it. Phaedra and Porsha have also slept with the same person or been with the same person as well. I mean, is it the Atlanta streets or is it the African contingent in the Atlanta streets? I just kind of want to know. I mean, I not living in Atlanta, I don't know the African population of men there, but it does seem like it seems like there's a large contingent of like African men who are, in these reality circle spaces. So I'm just asking the questions because I don't know. The world ain't big enough that y'all can dip and dabble with different people. Like, or I mean, I guess maybe all y'all rich, so all y'all hang out in the same circles. So it's probably the same available rich men and women. I really don't know. Y'all gonna have to tell me. Because what it is though. What's up? We learned that last night. And then Phaedra was like, well, ask Porsha about it. No, girl, you told us. So listen, you're gonna have to get, I mean, you did good last night, Phaedra, because you gave us more than You gave us a lot more last night than, and to be quite honest with y'all, the sound bath is something that is what I am looking forward to about Bali. That is the exact sound bath experience, but they're missing the pyramids and the lights. So we have 4 more spaces, I think, available for Bali, y'all. So tap on into those for our week 2 experience. You want to be in that. And that is in the description. Okay. So if you need some healing, if you need a sound bath, but you want to add a little sprinkle of light, because we will be floating. Oh, yes. We floating too. But hey, girl, if you're going to tell us about that, then why are you going to tell the producers to get Porsha to spill the tea that you just spilled to us? Why we got to get it from her? We know she not about to give it to us. Okay, according to K. Michelle, we got to get it from the dudes. So if you gonna spill it, then you tell us about it, right? But in the confessional, she gonna be like, y'all asked Porsha about that. No, you told us. But what we did learn is that there is y'all have to tell me in the chat. I'm gonna ask y'all this, and this is for my ladies, because I don't know that this. Maybe it applies to guys as well. I guess I just don't hear about it as much. But ladies, because it made me think back to Basketball Wives and, Evelyn telling Tammy she was a non-MFing factor when Tammy got upset that Evelyn didn't tell her she had messed around with her ex Kenny. So it's not a similar situation that's happening now with K. Michelle and Porsha. But ladies, do you feel like your girlfriend or your new girlfriend should tell you that she is maybe pop locking and dropping it with one of your exes? Let me know in the chat. I just want to see who it is. Like, who feels like that? Should your girlfriend or new girlfriend tell you, hey, boo, just so you know, I got a thing going on with one of your most recent dudes. Do y'all feel like you got to report that information back? I just kind of want to know. Let me know in the chat. Okay. All right. Back to what I was saying. Now, the people are investigating Phaedra's following list. But this is what is wild to me. I need y'all to follow me here. I need y'all to follow my logic here. Okay? When I was watching the episode last night, my first thought was, ooh, Porsha's being really specific about this guy, this married pastor, who she also clarifies was not a stewardess. But I'm like, are men stewardesses or are they stewards? I don't know. Y'all tell me. So my first thought was, well, we don't see Kelli deny it. So maybe it's true. And Phaedra's like, and as Porsha is going off, this occurs right at the end for anybody that missed the episode. I'll get into the mechanics of the episode in just 1 second, but because this is the news, we're gonna discuss that first. Uh-oh. I can't tell. Well, we still live, y'all? Let me see if we still live. Let me see if we still alive. This thing is circular and drain. See, it wasn't even meant to be today, y'all. Let me see. Is it showing? Hold on, y'all. Okay, so I can't see the chat for whatever reason. So we're gonna have to keep it moving. Y'all said y'all could see it. I can see y'all comments over here on my phone. Okay, perfect. So let's get back into it. Here's the thing about the situation that was revealed. As it was being stated, my immediate thought was, oh, this has got to be true because what I'm seeing here is Kelli's not denying it. Phaedra's agreeing with it. Porsha is saying, and because it's your client who is married, who is also a pastor. So here's what I was thinking to myself. I was like, Phaedra, should you really be agreeing with this right now? Because if that's your client, this is what this tells me about this situation. Number one, follow my logic here, y'all. This married pastor, if this is true, flew to the BET Awards weekend, linked up with Kelli, allegedly, again, all alleged, then picks up the phone as soon as the deed is done. The married pastor picks up the phone, calls the homie, and says, homie, yo, I just smashed Kelli. Homie is with Porsha. Homie hangs up the phone, turns to Porsha, and says, Porsha, my married pastor homie just smashed your co-star Kelli. For which Porsha goes, oh no, how fortuitous of this information to fall into my lap after she herself has accused me of going after the married men's. Porsha, in my mind, then has to go and tell this information to Phaedra because Phaedra knew to shush the situation a few weeks ago when it was brought up and Porsha was being pressed by Kelli to tell who it is. And Phaedra said, no, because I know the wife. So that tells me Phaedra knew this information as well. So this is what is crazy when you really analyze the situation. Okay. Now, whether or not this is all true, if I'm Phaedra, I'm mad at Porsha. Okay? Here's why. Because you are now dragging me and my clientele into your mess with Kelli because you want to burn her house down because she came after you. You want to drag me, my business, down with y'all? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No ma'am. No ma'am, Pam. And it took me a minute to like really think about that. I was like, Phaedra, you not upset about this? Because now, as a result, the people are investigating your friends list, your clientele list, to figure out who is the pastor that you are representing that might be married, that could be in this situation. Thus narrowing the list down of people that it could potentially be. So all of this pain and suffering that you were hoping to spare the wife has now just been broadcast to the world for everyone to try to dissect. And you would have to know that after the episode aired, that the people were gonna want to know. So at no point are you saying, Porsha girl, what are you doing to me and my business? I mean, number one, you probably should have just been like, if Porsha came to you with this information, you should have just said, girl, listen, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing about, I don't know nothing. What Kim Zolciak say? I don't know nothing about a black baby. I don't know nothing. I don't know. I don't know. I do no. Who said that? Right, BJ. Who said that? It was. I don't, girl. I don't even know the clients I work with now. I've got so many clients. I got so many jobs. I don't know how many clients I got. I work with a pastor. Oh, girl, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I got to go check my roster. No, girl, that you see. But this is the type of stuff that you, and I know nobody wants to acknowledge this, but that's some crazy diabolical work right there. Okay, that's some crazy diabolical work right there. I'm Porsha, you gonna burn down Phaedra's house to burn down Kelli's? Like I just want, and I know she was upset in that moment because Kelli's outburst kind of came out of nowhere. And I get that she's like, girl, I know one too many things about you for you to be keep on coming at me about some stuff. Now I'm gonna get you together real quick today, and I don't know why you sitting beside me, but as I stated before, y'all, I feel like I like Porsha. I feel like she is definitely the queen bee of this show. But if you don't have nobody to be able to challenge her and somebody who's not afraid of her, then it's not good, right? It doesn't make the show good when there's nobody to challenge Teresa. It doesn't make the show good when there's nobody to challenge Giselle. It doesn't make the show good when there's nobody to challenge, whoever the head person is in charge of the girls, right? It just don't make the show no good. Like, so a lot of y'all be complaining about, oh, Kelli, she just popping off trying to get Porsha to react. That sounds crazy to me. That sounds like when somebody says, it sounds like when somebody says, you made me hit you. You made me do this to you. What? No, you can't. Listen, Porsha is a grown woman. She knows how to practice restraint when she wants to. I don't think she was in danger of being of snatching Kelli bald in the moment. But I definitely felt like Porsha said, I think something snapped in her mind, like, K Michelle, you accusing me of this? Now Kelli, you coming at me? And so when she got the waving that finger in Kelly's face, and Kelli got the waving that glass in hers, um, production knew to separate them, but I don't think it was gonna really go there. I don't think so. I believe Portia's completely capable of handling herself at this moment. Or I would like to think that anyway. But I do think it was some crazy work that she threw. I mean, she literally threw Phaedra under the bus in that moment. And it just made me, it kind of threw me back to season 9 when Phaedra got thrown under the bus then, because yet again, this is some information that Phaedra allegedly knows, or at that point allegedly told Porsha from somebody in production. That was the case, right? That was what we thought. Porsha then takes that information and then brings it to reality TV. I mean, are like no? Does anybody is anybody else seeing that, or is it just me? That's like, Phaedra, you might need to check that, and you might need to check it fast. Okay, so that's number one. I thought that was crazy. And now we're at this situation where the people are trying to figure out what pastor it is. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to know. In the midst of, I wanted to know too. But then I thought about it. I was like, collateral damage. Now, this pastor and their family is collateral damage to some reality TV shenanigans. Yeah. 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 Listen, I'm not telling y'all that Porsha doesn't have a right to defend herself. That's not the question, because I see that in the comment section. The point of the matter is, it is how you choose to do it, right? At any point in time, Porsha could have stuck with the listen, I'm not saying any of it's right, but I'm just simply saying this. At any point in time, Porsha could have stuck with what she said about Kelli. I know that you did this. Stop talking about me doing this, because if you're talking about me doing it, you're doing the same. That's not, I feel like that is what it is. But I also realized I was right. That's also the thing that got K Michelle shook. I said that last week. The problem that I have is the details of Phaedra's being Phaedra's married client. That's revealing your friend's business in order to take down someone else. Like, y'all gotta like, you wouldn't have any consideration for your friend as you trying to take down, like, I don't get that. I'm not gonna jeopardize my friend's business and her business relationships for the sake of getting back at somebody on reality TV. Like, y'all, I mean, you can't, you can still be a fan of whomever and still recognize, oh, I didn't even think about it like that. So now Phaedra got to deal with that. Okay, Bird, if you say that you, by any means necessary, would do that to your friend, then, I mean, listen, have at it. That I- that's some wild stuff right there. Um, that's wild. Okay. But I still, and then I have to go back to, there is something I agree with you here on, Bird, is that, yeah, the pastor is crazy diabolical too. Okay. He's diabolical too. Who is calling somebody right after they do? Like, that's wild to me. The whole thing is wild. But uh, again, I still, if I'm Phaedra, I'm upset because you just threw me and my business in it. And I need you to have some regard for me and my business, especially considering the past issues that we've already had where Phaedra was pretty much gone from the show for something that she told Porsha that Porsha then revealed in another heated moment with Kandi, right? So it's just like a little pattern that I see kind of emerging here. And I think that as friends on the show, there's nothing wrong with Phaedra talking to her about that. Like, girl, like this is how I make my money. This is how I pay for my bills, my house, my livelihood, even if I was not on the show. Don't be taking information that I gave you and then using it in an argument with somebody else. That we gotta have a code that stays that things that just stay with us. But it's reality TV, so maybe some of this is just par for the course at this point. Whatever. So let's go back through the episode in general, because it sounds like y'all have an idea of who y'all think the pastor is, and that is what it is. I don't know. All I know is this is the end result. This is what happens when you are attempting to burn someone else's house down and you just set the whole forest on fire. Okay. I think you got to be able to control your anger enough that you stick to the topic at hand without putting your friend in jeopardy of losing a client. Because at the bottom line is still, I'm looking at the friendship that's within the dynamic of the circle. Kelli and Porsha, they ain't gonna be friends at this point because they still going tit for tat, and I feel like it's just up and stuck between the two of them. So they're gonna both be wrong in the situation that they're both trying to be right in. It is what it is. But I'm talking about the different dynamic that's unexplored here is the result of what's happening is that Phaedra's clientele list is now being put to question because the people want to figure out who it is. But listen, if you want to, if that's not worth exploring to y'all, then I totally understand. We can turn a blind eye to it. Okay. Next, other things that happen in the episode. K. Michelle goes to the dentist. Angela, Porsha, Drew, and Phaedra all get together. This was a nice lightweight scene that felt fun, that felt, I think, very reminiscent of like OG Real Housewives of Atlanta. I really liked this scene a lot because it just felt like we could sort of breathe a sigh of relief. Like there's not really much. I mean, I think that we love the drama sections of the show, but I think also too we like these lighthearted moments where the women kind of like come in looking fabulous. They joke with each other and they, have some drinks and catch up and spill the tea with each other. So I did like this scene. I liked it a lot. There's another scene where we see Shamia. She's going to see the person who is in charge of her surrogate situation happening because I think she has a different surrogate now, but she's a little worried because this is her last male embryo. Please let me know if I'm getting that correct because I could be wrong. Okay, I could be wrong. I like this scene with Shamia because I feel like it showcases a side of Shamia that I feel like we don't often get to see. And that's very much a vulnerable side that feels like, I think, human. And not to say that she doesn't read as human sometimes, but I do feel like sometimes as I watch like commentary from like the fans, I feel like people dehumanize her. And it was nice to see her in a way that just sort of was, it was serious. This is something that's super serious to her. And now Gerald is walking back his comments about whether or not she should be acting in these love scenes. And so she's questioning whether or not she should still be doing that. I would wonder also if, for me, and maybe this is just me, right? Shamia's in a situation where she is married to someone who makes a lot of money, and I'm sure Shamia makes her own money as well, obviously doing the show and other gigs that she's had. And I appreciate that she just didn't give up her life when she got married. And even if she did marry, someone who has also a lot of money and finances and is able to give her the life that she wants, I do also wonder if maybe is she trying to do too much all at once, because I think when you put yourself in that situation, you almost set yourself up for failure because you're trying to do so many things. And I do wonder what that is about. Why are you trying to do so many things? Is it because she wants to be considered an, equal contributor to the relationship? Or is it that I just feel like it almost feels like she's working too hard for something. And it is on some level, all of these things are seemingly causing her some angst. And let me give you an example of what I mean. Last season, it was, well, I want to do music. Okay. And I think that that's fine. But I did not get the general sense from Shamia that this was going to be the thing that she focused on, that she was super serious about, that she would take to the next level. Because at this point, for me, where is the album? Did we just lose interest in the singing? Is that still a thing? Or is it more so now that you're going to focus on the rum? Or are you going to now focus on the acting? What is going to be the focus for you that you are going to continue to focus on, that you are not going to give up on, and that you are going to have to be, because you got to, I say this, I often say this when I work with people who want to make content on YouTube or Facebook. I will tell you, and again, if anybody is taking the class, definitely the link, I'll put it in the description for tomorrow's faceless content class. But I'm going to say this: focus on one thing first. Get really good at the one thing and then expand. So then you don't feel so much pressure on yourself to do all of these different things. I don't think that maybe she needs to end her acting career as much as maybe she modifies the scenes that she does in the future. Not every actor or actress who is married at this point will choose to do those types of scenes. Sometimes they just won't, because that's just the agreement that they have. I don't know. I don't think that it means that she needs to end her acting career. I just think that she may need to modify how she goes about doing it and the roles that she chooses to accept. And I do want her to sort of solidify maybe, and I'm not telling her she can't be you can't be a multi hyphenate. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that because of the level of stress that she's already under, it may be good to scale back and do the one or two things that really are going to have the most impact. That way she can get really good at those and then figure out the rest from there. That's all I'm saying. Rebecca says Shamia has the money and means, but not the fame and notoriety she desires. So she's putting her eggs in all these boxes, seeing which will produce a fame omelet. A fame omelet, baby. Rebecca, do you write books? A lot of you guys are saying that Shamia, not a lot. I see a couple of comments who are people saying that Shamia is jealous. I don't really see Shamia as being jealous. I just see Shamia as having always been on this show in the friend role and trying to figure out, and at times unsuccessfully doing so, how to maneuver from being a friend to a main cast member. And I don't think I don't think that's as easy as she would have maybe hoped that it would be, because I think that she was still trying to, in some way, shape, or form, maintain the integrity of the friendship but you can't do that on a show like this. And in fact, I would never suggest, if you have a friend, that you do a show with your best friend, because it's just not going to work for your benefit for the long haul. I mean, it can, I guess you could say it could work, but it usually comes at the expense of one of the friendships. Look at Giselle and Robin, right? Now, here's the thing about Giselle and Robin. They typically stick together. You don't really see the two of them going at each other. But unfortunately, what ends up happening is one friend usually takes center stage and the other friend usually ends up taking a back seat. And so, unless both friends are willing to have honest discussions with each other and really go head to head when they need to, then the friendship is just going to deteriorate. And we've seen it happen time and time again. Shamia and Porsha is really nothing new. It's really more of a function of what happens to friendships on reality TV. So this ain't new. Like, so, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure for most people, you're gonna like Porsha more than you like Shamia, because Porsha has been the mainstay on this show for much longer. So we've had more experience with her. But I do want to, I do want to remind you guys of something. I personally would love it if people didn't say, as of episode 8, get rid of this person, get rid of that person. Simply because if nobody recalls, when Porsha first came onto this show, and Andy has said this, it wasn't a surefire thing that Porsha was coming back after her first season. Okay. It wasn't until she got to the reunion, and I think Andy has really emphasized this, and she made that speech about Cordell and her marriage, that actually ended up saving her on the show. So this is why I say to people, like, you got to give a person enough time to get acclimated to this world, despite wherever they may have come from in terms of another show, or this being their first show, or them going from friend to housewife. Give them a minute to acclimate to what this is, what their role is, and how they fit into this group, because they're never gonna find their footing as fast as an OG. And Angela is a once in a lifetime thing, right? We don't really see a lot of that happen, to be honest with you, with a lot of housewives. We just don't see it. So I think for me, when I'm thinking about, like, okay, housewives that have kind of come in and had this amazing first season and everybody falls in love with them, you just don't find that like every season. So I just wish that you guys would just sort of start at least giving people an opportunity to grow or learn how this thing goes. And that is what I mean by, sometimes I feel like it's feels very TikTok generation, when I feel like people are watching and they're saying, well, get rid of this person, get rid of that person. Because everybody was saying in the beginning, a lot of people were saying, oh, get rid of Angel. She doesn't belong on Potomac. Get rid of her. But by the end of this season, people were saying, oh, she should come back for another season. She should come back versus so-and-so. She should come back without Kiana. She should come back. She should come back. And it's like, I need y'all to make up your minds. Like, what do y'all really want from these people? So you got to give people an opportunity to grow. That's all I'm saying. So the next scene that we see is, we see Porsha go on her date with Sway. Again, love Sway. I feel like Sway is the business for me, and I feel like Sway is the one. There's some conversation about, between her and her sister and her mom about Mike. I'm like, we can go ahead and get rid of Mike, because I'm not really buying that story. I don't care how many mariachi bands he brings over. I'm just not buying it. I would rather either see her deal with Dennis or her just deal with Sway, to be honest with you. Maybe she's trying to figure it out. I don't know. And to be quite honest with you, I'm trying to figure out, in all this time, when girl, do you have time to now introduce K's ex into the mix of all of this? Okay. So having said all that, we're going to get to that now, because This is probably the thing that I'm least excited about at this moment because I feel like we've already beat this with a bat. Phaedra has a Reiki sound bath experience at her home, which I think is amazing, right? I personally, I've told y'all this. I love a sound bath. I think it's probably one of the most healing experiences that you can have. I think that again, we're going back to Bali because I really wanted to have a lot of you guys experience this sound bath that I went to that I felt like was life changing for me. So I want you to experience that too. I don't know that the sound bath was so life changing for many of the ladies as Shamia's float is about to pop as she's in the pool. And so there's some question about whether or not, girl, like, are you carrying some heavy energy? Which, if you watch the beginning of the episode, you'll know Shamia was carrying some heavy energy, which was very interesting. Now that I think back on it, there was another parallel in this episode. The other parallel in this episode was Shamia going to her surrogate and Kelli bringing up Shamia using her sister's eggs or embryos, and her reaction to that was like, ew, no. Versus it being brought up at Porsha's house by Lauren and Porsha's reaction to that, like, girl, give me your embryo, give me your eggs. Porsha's was definitely, and I here's the thing about Porsha. Her ability to light up the camera and to light up the scene is impeccable. It is impeccable. She has comedic timing. I think she knows this space. So she always generally feels very fun. So it, to me, is easy to always understand why people really gravitate to her, because that's what I see. There's a light when she's on the camera. It just is. Okay? It just is. You got to admit that. But I did notice those two parallel moments, and I don't know if anybody else picked up on that. I think production definitely picked up on it, and that's why they put it in the same episode, but I don't know if anybody else noticed that as well. Okay. Next. The girls, K. Michelle is in the car with Pinky on the way to the Reiki event at Phaedra's home. She reveals that this ex that she was on, I guess she was on the Queen's Court with, is the person who told her, yeah, I am sleeping with Porsha. When I'm sleeping with her, you're calling Porsha. Porsha is showing me the phone. This is allegedly how this is going, okay? And I'm piecing this together based on that sit down, what K. Michelle reveals at dinner, and also what she said on Watch What Happens Live. Okay. Now, I shouldn't have had to put it together this way, but I think I put it together last week. So there's that. But I think that there's more to this plotting and scheming story that we're going to get later based on something that she said on Watch What Happens Live. Okay. So we gotta wait for that. But at least a part of this is K. Michelle is upset because not only is Porsha, I guess, currently sleeping with, or at least maybe had slept with at some point in time during the season, this man that K. Michelle used to be with, this coach. I don't know if this coach was the same person that K. Michelle was originally supposed to come into Real Housewives of Atlanta with or not. But I don't know. Okay? I don't know that. But what I do know is it is upsetting to K. Michelle that apparently information is being passed from Porsha to him and from him back to K. Michelle. Additionally, K. Michelle reveals at dinner, because they do sit down at dinner after the Reiki ceremony, K. Michelle reveals, hey guys, Here's why I was so emotional last week. I respect that she did this. I wish she had done it earlier. Had she done it earlier, I think it would have had a bit more impact. And I think she probably doesn't need to be tweeting while filming, because I think it just sort of, it set up a precedent, and I understand that that's something that she's used to doing. But what I think it does for the show is it steals her, she steals her own thunder with that. Okay? Because now you're putting out this information that you think and that you're thinking in your head as you're thinking through things. Girl, maybe don't think on Twitter. Like, maybe think to a friend. Like, phone a friend. Phone somebody. Pick up the phone and call somebody. Like, if nothing else, like, phone somebody that you trust. But, like, thinking aloud on Twitter, like, listen, I can't tell you what to do, y'all, in life in general. I really can't. As adults, I cannot say to you, I don't think you should post all of your thoughts on Twitter, because I don't actually even have Twitter at this point. But what I can say is, maybe sometimes we as adults, right, living, and I understand the day and age that we're living in, it is very easy to pick up the phone and type something passive aggressive on the Twitter, because that's how it comes across. It comes across passive aggressive. And I just have to be honest. Love K. Michelle. I do. I love her down. Okay. I like her for this show. But I got to be honest. I don't love the tweet thinking. Okay. So let's maybe stop the tweet thinking and just process. Again, girl, call a friend. Right. Now, we also have another situation where, when I really break this down, why is this ex now shagging Porsha and then spilling the tea from Porsha back to K. Michelle? Who are these men? Who? Whatever happened to discretion, or whatever happened to go to sleep after you do the do? Like, whatever happened to, I don't know. Like, what? Why? Why is all? Who are these dudes that y'all ladies on this show are messing with, that be telling all y'all business? But, my God, I want you, Kay, next time you have a conversation with him, you need to have a conversation with him about that too. Because I guarantee you, if he did that to Porsha, he was definitely doing it to you. Okay? So maybe you dodged a bullet on that. I don't know. All I know is that now she has this information that Porsha is either A, looking for dirt on her, or B, asking questions about K. Michelle, or C, saying, "Oh, K. Michelle calling me. Look at the phone. She calling me right now. Tell me what you know about her." Why are y'all in the bed talking about K. Michelle? So listen, that's why I asked y'all earlier, ladies, do y'all need to know if one of y'all girlfriends has bumped and grind with somebody you used to date? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. Okay. So K. Michelle has done a couple of things. She has now witnessed Porsha expose Kelli in retaliation to something that Kelli said. She has now been annoyed by Porsha and the miscarriage comment. So she's on guard. Now, this dude comes calling her saying, "I'm sleeping with Porsha," allegedly, and she's allegedly asking about you or telling me things about you. You need to be aware. There's a fourth and a fifth component here that we're going to get into. The fourth component that is addressed at the dinner table by K. Michelle is black. Now, mind you, Okay. I don't know how Black fits into this. I don't even know. I cannot for the life of me, as I watch K Michelle and Drew arguing, I don't know what they're arguing about. I really don't. At this point, I don't get it. Other than number 5, the plot was supposed to be concocted by Phaedra, Porsha, and Drew. So maybe whomever has told her about this plot, who Andy asked, was it because K Michelle, when she was asked by Andy, K Michelle said it was Jesus who told her. And Andy said, Shamizus. And K Michelle laughed and said, ha 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 ha. No, it's gonna come. You gotta keep watching. So apparently we're gonna find out. But she didn't say no. So I'm like, oh God, girl, Shamia, please don't let it have been you. Lord knows I do not. Because girl, there will be nothing I can say to save you if it was you. Okay? There will be absolutely nothing. Nothing. If the people find out that it was you who told her this, oh God, I don't know. All I do know is I'm as I'm watching Kay and Drew go back and forth, it would be funnier if I knew exactly, is the plot from Drew supposed to be that there's still something going on with Kay and Black? And I guess it's difficult for me to understand because Drew does not even seem all that impressed by Black. Like, she doesn't seem pressed about. I mean, even though she had him sitting at a dinner for 3 hours, I guess, on FaceTime. I don't know who would do that. I would not. But I mean, and I don't know. They tried to position. I mean, she said she loved him, but I thought that I thought she was just casually saying like, because I got love for that man. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was like that. So I guess I'm still blurry eyed on. And again, I am slightly hungover. So, my brain might not be processing at the same speed that it typically does, right? My synapses may not be firing on all cylinders today. But I don't understand the Black issue. Okay, so San Diego Schmoyalty says the FaceTime thing seemed like a dig. BJ says, hold on, the chat is moving. The chat is moving today. BJ says Drew dropped that line about Black, hoping to get the story going with her and Kay, just like she lied, acting like she never heard any music from Kay. Meanwhile, meanwhile, Black should definitely be posting about his business. Like, I mean, Mr. Black, I hope that you are just out there like posting. I don't really know the business all that well. I know that he has is it like it's like a hookah business, right? Or something like a hookah, I think. But like maybe natural. I don't know. Like, all I'm saying is, man, you should be hopefully you out there posting and getting posting and posting and posting. Drusilla Young says, now as a longtime watcher of these shows, it's been revealed that women get together and make up storylines for the show. Now that we have heard before. Absolutely. There was a huge season 5 Potomac thing that was revealed about that same situation. Um, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I am so, this episode, when you go back and watch it, I think honestly, I think y'all gonna like find things that you did not really see in your first watch. go back and watch the episode with a set of fresh eyes, and then ask yourself these same questions. Like, walk back through the episode, even down to the little 10-minute battle at the end. Because Porsha and K. Michelle, they do get into it. And I will say that what I did like that K. Michelle did is, I did like that when she was approaching the situation with Porsha, I did feel like she was calm. I felt like I understood in that moment what she meant by, like, trying not to go from 0 to 100 and trying to do it in a measured way. I think by that point in time, Porsha, I think, was just over it, and she feels like K. Michelle is crazy. But I was wondering about that timeline. Now, while Porsha says that she did not sleep with this man at the same time as K. Michelle, I do believe that. I don't believe that they slept together at the same time frame. But the way K. Michelle is positioning this story is as though it was at least happening within the last few weeks of filming of some sort. For which Porsha is a single woman, technically, as she's stated to Sway. But I'm still like, Porsha, is that true? Are you asking this man about K. Michelle? Is what she is alleging true? That's an answer that we don't get. Okay? That's an answer that we don't get. So that's what I want to know. The other thing that I want to know about this episode, and I don't know if any of you guys picked this up, is, as much as I do feel like I like that Kelli is a foil for Porsha at this moment, and by foil I mean, like, they're antagonizing each other, right? They're opposites. They are enemies at this point. I don't like this idea of this Jarvis person. Let me tell you why. I am not understanding why we need to name this man Jarvis. I mean, is he supposed to be giving Big Papa vibes? What's the story here? I don't really understand the need for that level of secrecy if you've been dating him for a year and you can't show him. And I do understand that not everybody wants to be on TV. And I do understand that all of the ladies seem to have things happening. All the single ladies, Porsha included, may have some dealings with people that they have that are not on camera and featured on camera. And I'm not saying that that every relationship should be broadcast. What I am saying is, if we're going to talk about this Jarvis person and you've been dating him for a year and you're on this show and you want to showcase your life, and granted, Kelli does give us quite a bit of transparency, which I do like. I just don't like, if you can't show this man and he's not really going to be shown, producers, Kelli, I don't want to hear about him if we're not going to see him or be exposed to him in any way, shape, or form, and you've been dating him for a year. Because that level of storytelling diminishes your arc on the show, and it makes you feel more like a friend, because there's already this situation where you can, I mean, obviously she can show one of her daughters, right? Which is great. But it doesn't give the full breadth of who you are and what you're dealing with. And I think that a big element of your story is missing. And so I would prefer that if you are not going to tell us who he is, or we're not going to see him, because television is a show and tell medium. Then if you can't show him, you can only tell us about him, but you can't even tell us his name, then I would prefer that you just don't ever mention him ever again. Like, don't mention it. Because it's a road to nowhere for us as viewers, as an audience member. And for me, as a producer, I'm like, why are we even showcasing this at all? Because it is, again, it's a disservice to the viewer who's watching, who is invested in her story, but it will never go anywhere because he cannot be revealed on camera. Now, the Big Papa situation of it all, I think, was interesting more so in the beginning because of Kim's. I mean, there were some idiosyncrasies about Kim, and Kim's way of life was mostly shown on the screen for what we could see for what it was at that time. And the Big Papa thing of it all was kind of that he was financing her life. So this was more intriguing in the mystery of it all, but for some reason with Kelli, it just does not work. It doesn't have the same level of impact for some reason. And I readily admit that those are two similar things. I readily admit that. But in this and these were two different times. That was way back in the beginning, and this is where we are now, where we know so much about the show and so much about the characters and how much about the show works, that it just doesn't have, to me, the same level of impact. But that's just me, okay? Because in this day and age, what we're gonna assume is we're gonna assume that it's a fake relationship. You might tell us that it's been a year. You might have him answering the phone, but because we are at this point, and this is not maybe your fault, we are so jaded from seeing relationships that we don't believe, that we are, as an audience, are just gonna be like, okay, here we go again. I mean, we barely believe in Porsha and Mike. So I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it at that. All right. I'm gonna leave it at that. That was my last big, I think, point of contention about this episode in general. I did also, like I said, watch What Happens Live, because I wanted to see what questions Andy would ask K Michelle. And I will say this too. I need the K Michelle that was on Watch What Happens Live. I need her on Real Housewives of Atlanta. The K Michelle on Watch What Happens Live felt like the much more effervescent, funny, casual housewife that I think we were expecting than this K Michelle that we're getting, who, and I guess I understand it, that in real time you're trying to figure it out, but you, in the figuring it out of whatever mystery is happening behind the scenes, is not as entertaining to watch. Okay? We need action and movement. But the processing, similar to what Angel did at the beginning of season 10 of The Real Housewives of Potomac, slowed down the energy of the show. So I need you to, and I understand that this is you figuring it out in real time, but until I think you are certain that this is happening and you are ready to reveal it, then I think you probably don't show your hand at all until you're ready to drop the information at the table. And I know I'm being picky about that, but I'm just reading the tea leaves of the fans. I'm also reading my view of the episode in general as we go through the episodes, and the level of improvement that I think that you can make to speed up your process and to sort of get more into the housewives energy of it all. And I'm not saying you don't have to take time to figure it out, but I am, in my opinion, saying I would prefer that she fake it until you make it. Fake it until you figure it out. Okay? Fake it until you figure it out. Show up, laugh, kiki kaka, and then drop the bomb. Okay? Because that is exactly what Porsha did with Kelli in episode 2 at the tea party with her and K. Michelle. Porsha came into the scene effervescent, fun, bubbly, but I got something in I got something in the chamber. I got something in the chamber for you. And then boom, dropped that on her. Now I'm sure K. Michelle at this point is like, I don't know who gonna drop something on me or what. But until they drop it on you, then you kind of gotta kind of keep running the plays. You gotta keep running, you gotta keep dribbling the ball up and down the court. You can't hesitate. You can't stop the game. You can't pause the game. You gotta keep dribbling up and down the court, up and down the court, up and down, shoot, taking your shots, hitting the shots, going for the goals. Just keep showing up, doing the things, and watch, be funny, be yourself, but still keep your eye open and keep this in your back pocket that you know this information. Then once you've had enough, then you drop it like you did last night. That is what to do next time, Kay. Because then nobody needs to be taken on your journey of figuring it out except the people that you talk to behind the scenes. Period. That's what I think. And I think she will fare much better if she does that moving forward. I really do. I really do. So, those are my thoughts. Let me know if you guys have any similar sentiments or very different sentiments. I'm open. I just want to know what do you think? What did you think as you were watching the episode? What did you think if you watched it a second time? What do you think after this analysis? Do you have any different thoughts or do you still have the same thoughts? What do you feel like we're going to get when we get this mid-season trailer? Because I do feel like it's coming this week. We got a to be continued this week. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We did get a to be continued this week. So we're at episode 8. This is usually about the time, episode 7 or episode 8, that we do get a mid-season trailer. So I would expect that to come this week. I also put in the chat, y'all, the link for the Faceless Content class tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm looking at the comments right now. I'm checking on my phone and over here. Lots going on in the chat. Go ahead and tap into that. First 5 people who get in, we're going to do the doggone thing. I really just, like I said, I like to keep it intimate so we can really get to the meat and potatoes of what you need in terms of assistance with setting up your Faceless Content page and getting it monetized quickly so that you can start letting your content work for you, okay? Instead of you living your life working super hard, let your content do the work for you so that you can go and live the life that you really want. Travel, go here, go there, and do all the things. Thank you. I appreciate that. Interesting. I would imagine that we're going to get after shows after this next. For whatever reason, they seem to do after shows for like the black shows after the second half of the season. But like with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and that boring season, they got 2 different types of after shows. Like they just be giving Beverly Hills stuff just because. And I'm like, you know what it reminds me of? It always reminds me of that phrase that says, like, for a lot of us, we know this, that we have to work twice as hard to get just as much. And it really does kind of go back to like y'all giving all of this to Beverly Hills. And Beverly Hills might be doing better in the ratings than all of them. I mean, at this point, that's probably why. But y'all giving all of this to Beverly Hills, that budget, and y'all can't do the same for Potomac and Atlanta? No, get them 2 after shows. Get them after shows part for the first half of the season. They wearing one thing, and then give them an after show for the second half of the season, and they wearing a different thing, just like y'all did Beverly Hills. Okay, but the budget may be budgeting down at the Beverly Hills, so we don't know. But I would imagine after these next couple of episodes, we're gonna get it, or at least hopefully starting next week. Mm, yeah, I mean, two different production companies, but same network. So I don't know. I don't know. All right, y'all. So look, that's it for today's video. Y'all, the chat was lit. Y'all, y'all don't be playing around. And I'm just thankful I made it through because I still got a hangover. um, this is how we do it. This is how we do it. All right. With that being said, y'all, I will catch y'all in the next video. And I'll see y'all. And for those of you guys who are doing the faceless content class, I will see you in class tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.